Guys, welcome back to the Human Condition. Today we'll be talking about another astrology video. So this will be the second one in our moon series. Last one was moon in what does it mean to be a moon in Aries. This one is what does it mean to be a moon in Taurus. It's pretty cool. This one also I'll try to add some celebrities. So what famous people have moon in Taurus. So this should be a pretty fun, interesting one. Also, I want to start things off with saying thank you guys for the support. I really appreciate it. I think we got another 2 subscribers recently, if I'm not mistaken. I think I've read it right, which is awesome. So thank you guys so much. I got my first real comment in my last video, so I really appreciate the feedback from the commenter. If you're watching this, I really appreciate you. Thank you for supporting. I'll definitely try to start making more videos if I'm talking about certain people to add their characters in the video if you recommended. I thought that was a really good idea. So I'm definitely gonna try to do that. At first I was worried. I know in my last video that it might get copyright strike or something, but he said it'd probably be fine, so I might try that out in my videos where I talk about different types of people, famous people, characters, and all that stuff. I'll try to make sure I add a picture. And maybe some timestamps on those videos too, so you can skip ahead to different parts that you might like or find interesting. So without further ado, talk about some Taurus moon and what celebrities have Taurus moon. So some celebrities that have Taurus moons, I'm pretty positive, is Robert Downey Jr. I'll have to actually check the other ones because I'm not an added clip in here and then tell you I'll at least give 2 other examples and I'll add a clip in there. So it's got Robbie Downey Jr. and then I'll add a clip telling the 2 other ones. But basically the Taurus moon is what does it mean to be a Taurus moon is that you're calm. These people are typically calm. Taurus represents love and money. So these people moon is like comfort. So having a Taurus moon means to be emotionally comfortable. They need to feel comfortable in their environments. It's all about being in control of their environments. So one thing I've noticed with a lot of Taurus moons is they're really routine oriented or friend group oriented. Like I said, in the last videos, But when it's in the moon sign, that's their core. That's not like the sun sign where how they express themselves in their external selves. These are really moon signs are really important because it's your core. It's what your desires you're really searching for in life. Your external sun is how you express yourself and your desires and what makes you feel more confident, but your moon sign is what makes you feel more comfortable, and that's very different. Confidence versus comfort. Sometimes what makes you comfortable is not what gives you confidence. Sometimes what gives you confidence is not always what makes you comfortable. So that's very important distinction, I guess. So this Taurus is a sign that represents love and money. So definitely to be comfortable, they definitely need to know they're financially secure. They need to feel like they have a support group, unlike Aries, where Aries might be able to like I said in the last video, their comfort is literally just in existing, which is kind of crazy. So their comfort is just in themselves, just being. Whereas Taurus necessarily is I like this, but I also, to be more comfortable, I need to. It's the second emotional maturity. So you go 1 to 12, it's number 2. So as you slowly go up, it's kind of cool. It'll be slowly more outgoing and more self-oriented. Then when you get to the later signs 9 to 12, it'd be really outgoing, really friendly. It's gonna be really crazy when we get to Sagittarius, like I said in the last video, because there's a lot of controversial people. It's crazy how many controversial people are Sagittarius moons, but you either love them or hate them. I'm not gonna get to say what if you do or don't because I don't want to comment on controversial people, but I'll list some very controversial people probably in that video, and it's just because there's a lot of controversial people that are very different, so but had the same sign, so it's kind of funny to see how it's crazy they have the same sign or whatever. But so that would be a fun video to get to when we get to it. But Taurus is 1 step higher, but with emotional maturity level, but they seem they're very other oriented, gathering the friend group and stuff, which is kind of cool. They're very routine. They also don't usually being by themselves, unlike Aries. Aries can be by themselves a lot, and they don't bother it. They're just comforts in themselves, like obviously in their passions. Taurus's desire is to get love, is love and money. So they don't feel like in a group, they don't feel like the love part. So it's like they need to be in a group. If they don't, not in a group, they're kind of like, this kind of sucks. So that's something they thrive off is, they don't have to be like Capricorn, right? Like Capricorn goes out and like is always outgoing. Even if they're not famous, everyone knows Capricorn moons, right? They're outgoing. They don't have to be that outgoing. They're actually kind of reserved and take a while to warm up to people and let them into the group, but they still want the people to be in the group, if that makes sense. They want the connection, but it takes a while to warm up, for them to warm up to people. Usually. Not always, but usually. So that's one thing you can notice with Taurus moon. Another thing is, they usually, if they're not when they're not hanging out with the group, they usually have a strict routine, and this kind of conflicts with Leo. Like, I don't know if I brought this up in my one video. I think I did. Leo and Taurus are what you could call a square aspect. So a Leo moon and a Taurus moon aren't always jiving well, because Leo wants to connect with people one-on-one, and Taurus wants to be in a friend group. So Leo feels like a lot of times they can't reach Taurus because they're trying to do a one-on-one thing, and Taurus is kind of like, I'm fine with that, broski, but I kind of want you just to join the group, and it's kind of like a confliction there. But they still get along for the most part. It's just they have to work through that kind of miscommunication. It's a square, with a sign you call a square aspect. So there's a lot of confliction with that, and they might not like how routine and organized Taurus is. And they kind of like, because they're spontaneous, so that kind of conflicts too. Taurus, routine, organized. Leo moon, spontaneous. When you put them together, kind of like conflicts a little bit. So that's another example of one thing about it. Taurus and Leo. Taurus and Leo can get along. Not saying they can't get along, but it just takes a lot of warming up, and takes a lot of getting used to. Another sign that Taurus conflicts with is Aquarius, and it's because Aquarius is the sign of outgoing, like extremely outgoing. It's universal. It's the opposite of Leo, so meaning like Leos sometimes, even though they're really charismatic and good people, sometimes, like I said last video, their ego can get to them sometimes. Whereas Aquarius is the exact opposite. They're very humble, but they're also extremely outgoing. Like they're 11, I think, on the maturity scale of all the signs. So they're also really well-known people, pretty powerful people, kind of like Sagittarius I talked about in the last video. But they're powerful, like in the sense that you don't know they're powerful. Like they're kind of behind the scenes, and like Sagittarius is like you know they're the powerful one, but behind the scenes, Aquarius moon would be really powerful type of people usually. They know everything about everyone. They're like very outgoing people. So with Taurus and Aquarius, the confliction is either in a group, Aquarius wants to invite more people. It's not like Taurus doesn't like more people. They want to be nice to everyone, but it's more of I have to warm up to you type of nice to everyone. So they'll be like, hey, how's it going type of thing, but they don't really want to get close until they know them pretty well. Whereas Aquarius might be like easy to like want to get close almost instantly. So that can come off Taurus a little like jarring sometimes, but they can work it out once the longer they hang out with each other. Also, the more used to the Aquarius moon they'll get, the more used to them inviting more people into the group they'll be, which is positive. And also, all squares, it's like a kind of like they can get along, but it's harder for them to get along. It's like they need each other, but they don't want to rely on each other. All square aspects. So that's an example of that. Taurus's opposite would be Scorpio, the sign of chaos, emotional depth, and stuff like that. Intimacy, kind of like Aries in the last video. Talked about how they're like passionate people. So are Scorpio, but more passionate, directed towards the other person. Like, I'm going to give all to this one person, which is really kind of wholesome. I'm going to give it all to this person. Whereas Aries, like, I kind of just want it all. So that's the difference between Aries and Scorpio. And so Scorpio is the opposite of Taurus. So deep emotional interpersonal sign, and it's water, so it's emotion. So they're deep emotional connection people. Whereas Taurus is more like they don't want to really deal with the deep emotional they kind of want to avoid the deep emotional conversations with people because they feel like it's harder. They want to keep everything light and peaceful. They don't want to, because deep emotions can cause chaos inadvertently, and they kind of want to keep everything peaceful. So they're opposites, but there's all opposites have an attraction. So Taurus and Scorpio have a strong attraction because they're so different. And those are the 4 what you call fixed signs, meaning, like I think last video we talked about cardinals, they're the initiators. The fixed signs are the people that kind of have their set routines and how they function. They don't initiate stuff, but they do the same thing, and they're pretty consistent in what they do. So those are the 4 fixed signs. Taurus, so you can think about the celebrities, like I'll list like Robert Downey Jr. and 2 other I've added before. And you can think about those people and how they might or may not. You might be like, hey, this guy, they don't look anything like Taurus, or like, yeah, this person's pretty calm, pretty cool, pretty like dressed really nicely. They seem like a Taurus. So you can be like, I don't think that's like a Taurus, or you can be like, okay, they do kind of represent a Taurus once I list the celebrities. So, anything else to add? Yeah, also with the emotional betrayal, I would say like they're not, people in the low, like I said before in the last video, they're not immature. They're just like not as outgoing. Each sign has its own pros and cons. For example, pros of Taurus is they're nice to everyone when they first meet them, and they're really supporting to people that are in the group. But the cons are like they're really reserved and hard to warm up to sometimes, and they're kind of closed off, even though they're nice to everyone, if that makes sense. So that's a pro to them. The pros to Aquarius is they're open to everyone, the conflicting sign, but the cons are they're kind of like they might struggle with confidence, so they have to rely on almost everyone they meet to like boost their confidence sometimes, but not always. So I think, is that all that I think? And that's basically all the things about Taurus. They're they're ruled by Venus, which is love and money. So like the last video, you have to check to see what kind of Taurus moon you are, or Taurus sun. You have to check where your Venus is, because if your Venus is like in Aries, you might be more like a peaceful but more passionate type of person. Like, I'm gonna find peace in this friend group, but after I find the friend group, I'm gonna focus on my passions within the friend group. And after finding a friend group, I'm gonna completely focus on my passions after that type of thing. So to see what type of Taurus moon you are, you have to check what your Venus sign is. Is Venus in Aries, it's like kind of like moon in Aries, in like a kind of like a tunnel. You go for Taurus, moon in Taurus, it's like and your Venus is in Aries, it's kind of like a tunnel that leads you to Aries, if that makes sense. So moon in Taurus is different from sun in Taurus, because sun in Taurus main goal might not be the friend group or love and money or the finer things in life, the materialistic things, the friend group, the peace. Peace might not be their number one goal. Taurus and sun in Taurus, but moon in Taurus, that's your desires, so that is your number one goal. So that's the core difference between Taurus sun and Taurus moon. Kind of like our last video, the core difference between Aries sun, Aries moon. Aries moon is like deep emotionally, what they want, drive, and what they desire, whereas Aries sun is like how they express themselves as what they desire, even though that might not be what they desire. Also, how they get their confidence. So this was my second episode of Moon Through the series. This was what does it mean to be a moon in Taurus. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope it was pretty informative. I don't know if it was as informative as my last video, but I hope you still got some information out of it. My next video will probably be what is cognitive psychology, because it'll be a part of the psychology segments. So that video will be like diving deeper into the 7 schools of thought that I talked about in one of my last psychology videos. So this will be like all the different types of cognitive psychologies and how they affect the way you think. So that'll be probably my next video. And yeah, so that's probably it. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Like, subscribe if you want.